Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show today. This is exciting times because I've been thinking a lot about my third eye and activating my third eye and working on that, trying to work with the pineal gland, decalcify it. I've been doing a lot of detox stuff the last few years. And so today I wanted to bring a guest on that can talk to us about activating our third eye and tell us what the importance of that is and why we need to do that. And also, how does that play into the fifth dimension and the energy we're moving into these days? Well, welcome to Creative Visions TV, and I'm your host, Karen Dahlman. Very happy that you joined us here today. So my guest today was born in Paris, France, but he grew up in Tehran, Iran. He's actually Persian, but in 1978, he came to the United States. This gentleman is an internationally known spiritual healer and teacher, and he's here to join us today to tell us about his type of unique healing, often considered the rock star of quantum healing. He has traveled the globe sharing his insights and his teachings. He teaches shamanic healing, third eye activation that we're going to get into today, psychic surgery, and so much more. He has such a unique style of healing that I'm super excited to have him here join us today and share with you his skills and abilities, and also his path of how he had an awakening. He studied with many great spiritual teachers and leaders over the years until he had his own awakening. And when his awakening happened, he came to a realization that which we seek resides in our own hearts. So our guest today is none other than the world-renowned Zarathustra. So welcome to the show, Zarathustra. Yay!
Well, thank you very much, Karen. That's very kind of you to have me. I'm honored to be here, and happy that we're connecting and I'm able to share some of the insights and realizations that I have come to know in past few years with your audience.
Well, I can tell you what, they're going to be very excited about you. I try to bring unique individuals on here who know how to tap into the unseen realms and dimensions and want to share that knowledge with others so we don't make it such a mysterious thing. And you guys, I met Zarathustra at the Conscious Life EXPO earlier this year with Marla. And she and I were on a quest for third eye activation. If you saw our video, I'll post it below. It started with this little bottle of Maldivite oil, and then we started talking about the third eye, ran into Zarathustra, and we had a private session with him, and it was really cool. So maybe we can start with, what is this third eye thing all about, and why and how do we need to activate it?
Well, when we're referring to third eye, it's really the pineal gland, and we do have this itty bitty small gland in the size of a green pea, and it's in a pine cone shape, and this gland is tucked in the center of the two hemispheres. It's not in the brain, it's not a part of the brain, but it's tucked in between the two hemispheres and of the brain, and it's in a pine cone shape, as I explained earlier. Now, when scientists discovered this gland and they dissected it, they realized that within this gland there is a retina, a cornea, and a lens, and it's very, very much like our own two eyes, and it has the ability to see, but obviously it doesn't have a window towards the outside world because it's tucked in between two hemispheres of the brain. So now, why? Okay, so that's why they call it the third eye, because it's there. Now, this particular gland is bioluminescent. It gets activated through light. Obviously, you cannot put a flashlight directed to it, so you need to send light in a form of waves to the pineal gland to get it activated. And now, the significance of...
Yes.
Okay, so what's in it for me, basically? All right, we do have this gland. It's there. But so what? Well, the significance of this is that pineal gland secretes melatonin which regulates our sleep pattern, and still it's okay, all right, okay, pineal gland secretes melatonin and regulates our sleep pattern, but again, what's in it for me as a spiritual seeker? And it secretes DMT, dimethyltryptamine. Now, the production of the DMT in the brain gives us the first-hand spiritual experiences. When the pineal gland opens up and gets activated and produces DMT, we're having this various different kind of experiences, such as you may be having an experience with some trans-dimensional being. Like, for example, all of a sudden you may see Buddha or the Christ or some highly elevated being appear in your vision or in your room. You may be experiencing time traveling or time dilation or dimensional shifting. You may experience a tremendous amount of insights. If you're a healer, you may become a large healing channel and tremendous amount of healing energy traveling through you. If you're a psychic or a medium, you start having a lot of information channeled to you and become available to you. If you're an artist, you may enhance your abilities. If you're a writer, singer, a poet, all of a sudden information and new writing and all kinds of things starts to channel through. And this also covers other areas of life. For example, if you're a cook and all of a sudden you may come up with all these ideas of cooking new food or new methods of putting things together, and you become a complete alchemist. All kinds of different things can happen as a result of pineal gland, the third eye, secreting DMT, dimethyltryptamine.
Would you say this is like having a download of information, or just allowing source to flow through you that inspires you to be the best you can be in the physical?
Absolutely. The pineal gland is the physical gateway between the physical world and spiritual world.
Beautiful. I've not heard it put that way. Is a gateway. Yeah, it's a portal, isn't it? Beautiful way of saying it.
Yeah. So it is the third eye. Now, it's the all-seeing eye. When your pineal gland starts to get activated and it's producing DMT, you have visions, you have insights, you can see things. And this is not only pertain to spiritual experiences. It's like you're meeting somebody, you're going to a car dealer to buy a car, or you're dealing with a real estate agent, or insurance contract, or law contracts, and all of a sudden you're seeing through things.
I love it. Like seeing into the meaning of what they're saying, or understanding more with more clarity.
Absolutely. You have vision of things. You may be seeing something's coming as far as, okay, I better not get into this contract because I can see some hidden agendas, or a future problem may occur, so now it's better I just bring it into this contract to correct it before it happens. You have all kinds of insights. So it's not just for New Age people or spiritual people as far as all of a sudden I'm going to be finding myself in the world of crystals or lights.
Right.
Or I'm going to be going back into time and I see myself flying as an eagle over a field and seeing Native Americans doing a powwow. Not necessarily that, and it could happen, but it also gives you this vision of reading through people and anticipating events that may happen. So instead of reacting, you're proactive. And you're anticipating things coming. Yes. So that's in a nutshell about the pineal gland, and the third eye.
Well, and I can see the importance of what you're saying about learning to activate it for even like practical means, as you just mentioned, being in meetings with people, meeting somebody, knowing what to do next in your life. It's really becoming empowered in a grander, greater scheme of things, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It will influence all the facets of your life.
Wonderful.
And ultimately, the highest reward of someone who has been able to activate and open their third eye is the fact that you begin to touch and get glimpses of the oneness of universe. You begin to feel that everything is really connected to everything, and in fact, nothing is separated from yourself. And the benefit of this realization, the deeper you go into it, the more it reveals itself to you. The main benefit of it is to realize that if everything is a part of myself, if I am one with everything, then I cannot be afraid of anything. Because everything is myself, therefore there is no boogeyman.
Oh, thank you for saying that. This show is all about that, demystifying the mysterious and telling everybody you are safe within yourself. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm so glad you said that. Listen, you guys, I didn't tell him to say that. He said this on his own because this is the kind of work he does. Now, you work in the fifth dimension, and my feeling is that when you're working with this energy of the pineal gland and it's activating, you're starting to sense things. That is moving in. That is the fifth dimension. How would you explain the fifth dimension and your dimensional healing you do within that realm?
Right. Well, let's start with fifth dimension. Fifth dimension is in a nutshell, again, is a unified field of oneness, a unified field of love, without the expression of duality.
Yeah.
So, imagine, because therefore you cannot be in fifth dimension and there's you and fifth dimension. You're one with it. Therefore, you cannot, in the moment that you're in the oneness, you cannot say, oh, I am one, because there is no you separated from the oneness to express that. There could only be an expression of, oh my God, wow, but there's not like, oh, I am one, because there's no you. It's just that.
I see what you're saying. The ego's not there to judge, this is me here, this is the oneness. Instead, it's like the one of all. It's a collective. In a sense, I feel like it's a collective.
Exactly. It's in the dissolution of the sense of separation. It's in that dissolving the me as a separate entity, and when me as separate entity doesn't exist, it's the collective.
And that right there is alchemy, what you're talking about. This is alchemy. You're an alchemist.
I guess. I mean, who am I to claim that?
I just gave you that title.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I take it. In a way, it's true. I mean, if you've read anything from Rumi,
yes,
or all these ancient mystics, that they all came to this realization. They all came to this place of recognizing their oneness with everything. And in that, eventually, they began to lose their sense of their separation.
Beautiful.
The person, the character, the identity of the character appears to be there, but the one inside has illuminated into the one. So, and they all came to that, and they're all pointing to that. Whether it's Taoism, or Sufism, they're all pointing to that point.
Yeah, all the great spiritual teachers have spoken about this. All the great books have spoken about this. And I know that the ultimate goal of alchemy is the merging of the masculine and feminine, the balance of the unity. So there is no duality left, and then you are connected to source. That's how I would say it. But that's beautiful. So you guys, when he works, he does he makes some sounds. There's blowing. There's movement. It's really quite an event, and you feel he helps raise the energy. That's all what I can say about it. How it feels. Do you want to tell them a little bit about your psychic surgeries and your healing sessions with groups of people? Because he goes around the world and is working with people all the time, helping them heal from some major ailments. Yes,
I would love to. The fifth dimensional quantum healing and awareness, this modality of healing that I'm the founder of it. Can't claim that I'm the one who created it, because my honest opinion is that it found me and it downloaded to me and it created itself through me. So I can't really own it, but I appreciate the credit. I'll take it for now. And so the fifth dimensional quantum healing that was born is a system of helping individuals to raise their vibrations to a higher frequency. And we are able to raise our vibrations to a higher frequency through becoming quiet. A silent mind, a mind which has no thoughts in it. And the more the mind becomes quiet, the higher become our vibrations. A grid gets activated, an energy field, through not being active in our minds, awakens and changes literally our vibrations and brings our vibration to where I call fifth dimensional vibrational frequency.
Okay.
Through being quiet and being able to go beyond our thinking mind.
So is this like meditation, getting in a meditative state where you let the thoughts pass by and don't hold on to them?
Yes.
Okay.
We use active meditations because active meditations it's proven to work a lot more faster than any kind of old-fashioned sitting guided meditations, because our minds are a lot more sophisticated today in comparison to what it used to be 100 years ago.
That's a good point. As when technology changes, we're changing. We are technology. We're moving. That's true. We're shifting. So we have to stay up with the times of what we can and can't do. So when you talk about, you said active meditation, can you explain that a little bit more to our audience?
Yeah, it's after years of being around different teachers, spiritual teachers, gurus, shamans, healers, going to different workshops, sitting with different beautiful beings that talk about consciousness, I discovered that the fastest method of dealing with a group, that you may be having people from age 14, and sometimes I have someone at age 82, 83 in my workshop or in my seminar, and they're coming from different backgrounds. Some have never meditated before. Some just heard about me and they're coming for the show, and they're wondering, who is this guy and what does he do?
Right.
And some are there for healing or awakening. So you're dealing with the whole gamut of different age and background of people, whether they have spiritual practice, they have practiced spirituality or not. So how do you deal with that in 1.5 hour short workshop in an EXPO? Now, what I discovered is that whether someone has ever done any kind of meditation or not, is everybody can laugh. So we do a simple thing. I ask them to close their eyes and bring their attention to one point and start laughing. So in the beginning it may be difficult, but everybody gets into it after a while, and the whole room starts laughing, and they go to their joy, and that automatically elevates the vibration in the room. Then we may be doing standing up and shaking meditations, with shaking and making noises, creating or having people jump up and down and going like, hoo, 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 hoo. And action, when you're shaking, when you're moving your body, or you're laughing, or any kind of active meditations that you get involved in doing something, it naturally throws the mind off and takes the focus from the thoughts, because now you're not actively trying not to think. You're involved in something else. And as your involvement to something else gets deeper, your attention to your thoughts gets less. And then all of a sudden you realize, when we're doing like for 10 minutes of doing some active meditation, and we stop and we bring our attention to one point, all of a sudden you realize that there's no thoughts. Thoughts are gone. And so through these various different methods, I'm able to take the audience, my group, my participants, into a very quiet and deep place. Once they come to this deep, quiet place, their vibration automatically raises to a higher frequency. As vibration reaches to a higher frequency, something gets activated. There's an invisible energy field that becomes apparent and reveals itself. It's always been there, but we cannot connect with it because we're too busy thinking. Yeah. We're too busy worrying. We're too busy watching the news, and there's full of anxiety and fear and uncertainty. So we take people from that place into a very quiet, balanced place within themselves. So that's the basis of the practice, to go into a quiet meditative place. Now,
I love that, because I've always said, and I just myself, I do sit and meditate traditional way, but I also do, I call it movement meditation. It sounds like what you're doing. I might dance, I might walk, I fast, but then I let the thoughts go and I'm focused on the movement itself, and then I get into a space. It's something just automatically happens. And I've had other people tell me the same thing too. So I find that very fascinating, that that's your way of connecting with everybody in your audience through these movements, through the laughter, and then being able to go right into that quiet zone. That's beautiful. Exactly. That's something we all can start practicing right now. That's a great application.
Absolutely. And that's what the foundation of this work is based on silence, a quiet mind. And so when we're able to come to this place, then all kinds of things happen. Emotional blockages disappear, bodies will heal themselves, and tremendous of insight, spiritual insight, were available because we open up, we're quiet, we're empty now, and as if a portal opens up and information starts to download, so we go through spiritual realizations. Now, that's the foundation of what I do. Now, if you watch some of my videos and you're seeing that I'm touching people when I'm doing the fifth dimensional quantum healing, pulling things out of it, or doing shamanic exorcism or psychic surgery. The fifth dimensional quantum healing that I do is comprehensive. It's not, that's why it's the most effective modality of healing on the planet today. Because there's energy healing, like most healing modalities that they do energy work. It has psychic surgery.
Yes.
And, that's hands-on, energetically entering into someone's body and pulling things out. And I'm going to explain to you later on what these things are.
Great.
There is shamanic exorcism that you may see me just get close to someone's throat or stomach or somewhere and suck something out of them. There is sound vibrational therapy that we use instruments of sound, or the sounds I'm making or singing, that is soothing and healing. So it's very comprehensive. It's not limited to just hands-on healing or energy work or only sound. It has everything combined into one.
And when I was with you, and Marla was too, we experienced a little bit of everything, as I recall. You touched on all those different modalities. I was also going to tell you that I went to visit John of God a year ago, and I had some psychic surgery done on me there as well. It's quite powerful, to say the least.
Absolutely. I spent 6 months at John of God.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah, I lived there for 6 months, and and you know how intense it is being there for 2 weeks.
I was there for 2 weeks, right? That's intense.
Yeah. And imagine you're there for 6 months. So
wow. I tell you, the energy you really, you do walk, you feel the energy. It just stays with you. You feel it. And I got to say, here I am a year later, I still feel that energy from those activations, you want to call them that, or the surgeries. There were some major things that happened to me, and interesting enough, this is what happens when you go there, or you do work with you as well. A shift happens, and you don't go back. You move forward, and it stays with you, and you feel that change. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. When you're in a powerful energy vortex, such as being at John of God's, or let's say you're at the presence of an awakened guru, enlightened master, whomever that is, mm-hmm. What happens is the vortex, the place, the presence of the teacher, the guru, the healer, it's reflecting back to you, to the person, and activating what's within ourselves. Mm. And what's within ourselves is the shaman, the healer, the master, the guru is really within yourself. So what we're seeing outside of ourselves, when I'm sitting at a presence, let's say I'm sitting with Dalai Lama. Mm. And let's say Dalai Lama, I think majority of people on the planet, they agree that he's an enlightened being. Mm-hmm. Or let's say Amaji, the hugging mother.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. And, I don't have a measuring stick to say who's enlightened, who's not. But right. Let's say that we do view them as saints and sages. Okay? Can we agree on that for a moment?
Absolutely. And adepts, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So let's say you're at the presence of someone highly evolved, like one of these two figures that we just spoke about. What they really do is they're reflecting back to you and to me of what's really within myself. Because the real guru is within. Mm-hmm. The real enlightened master, the Buddha, is within yourself. And when you are looking at Dalai Lama is a other manifestation of what is within yourself. It's
beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes.
In reality, when you're looking at Dalai Lama, you're looking at yourself. This is your higher self that manifested in a physical form, and you're looking at it. Now, from childhood, we've been brainwashed by society that we're projecting love, tranquility, acceptance outside of ourselves.
Yes, out there.
Yeah, right, out there, right? So that's why when you're in love with someone and they break up with you and they leave you, you crash. But you were never really in love with the meat. You fell in love with the love which is within yourself. Mm-hmm. They reflected back to you what's within yourself, and you discovered that love. So if we're trained correctly, then we realize that there is no Dalai Lama, that Dalai Lama you're looking at is yourself. Nice. And you begin to realize and recognize the guru within.
And could we go a step further and say, a lot of people believe in God or all that is or source, that's really yourself too. That is you. You are that
100%,
energy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's what happens in fifth dimensional quantum healing. A major part of what I do is, before we even go any further, you remember you came to my workshop, is we spend about an hour in the beginning becoming quiet, mm-hmm. doing the active meditations, and then doing the self-love affirmations, So we come to this place and starts touching the divine part of ourselves. And quite often people project it on me as if I have it and I'm the one who's giving it to them.
I see what you're saying, yes.
And repeatedly I have shared with my audience that I don't have it more than you do. I'm simply reflecting back to you what's in there. So don't look up to me. Look inside.
All answers reside within.
All answers reside within. Absolutely.
It's beautiful meditation. As you speak, it's very melodic. Because you're speaking such truth, and I can feel that. One of the things I learned, and it goes right along with what you were saying about you look at the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama's reflecting back to you, your own beauty within. I was told this many years ago, and it really opened me up on a whole new spiritual path. I think I was in my late 20s, and somebody said to me, "You see that beautiful sunset out there? You see how gorgeous that is?" I said, "Yeah, it's beautiful." They said, "That you can only see that if you have that beauty within you. That wouldn't even exist to you, couldn't see it if that wasn't already within." So what you're saying is all these things out here that help you, you think they do, bring you joy and all these things, it's really truly a reflection of what you found within yourself, just mirroring it's back to you. So it's a way to really embrace that and know that you already are those things. This is a fabulous talk that you're having with us today.
Yes, you are already these things, but in the same token, this is all nonsense if you don't feel it.
Right.
Because these are words. Okay, it's all within, but how come I don't feel it?
Great,
right?
Let's talk about that. That's an important one.
Exactly. Okay, I'll make it simple. We, those who are nature lovers and those who feel peace and calmness when they go to the nature. For example, you drive and you go somewhere by the coast, which is very beautiful, or you go hiking in the mountains or woods, or you're driving through the desert, or you go to Sedona. I used to live in Sedona.
I just got back from Sedona a few days ago.
Oh, okay, so did you see the monsoons? Were you there during the monsoons?
Monsoons had just stopped, but everything was beautifully green. A lot of wildflowers, just gorgeous. We got there after the monsoons had come through.
Right. Yeah, I lived in Sedona for 9 years.
Oh, so, wonderful!
Yeah, it's one of my power places.
Oh, I feel it.
When I'm in this beautiful nature, wherever it is, and I just say, "Oh my God, I feel so calm. I feel so peaceful." Is the reality of it is the nature is reflecting back to me. It's simply mirroring back to me the peace and calmness that resides within myself.
Absolutely.
It's already here. So I'm in the nature and I say I feel very peace and calmful, but that's already here. Once you start to touch and discover it within yourself, you could be in downtown LA, 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon in the middle of the traffic.
Ugh.
You have discovered the place within yourself. You can easily have the same equal feeling of peace and calmness regardless of where you're at.
So how would you tell somebody in that case, I go through LA traffic like you do too, we live near each other, right. How would you tell somebody to bring that peace back in that moment of, this guy cut me off and I'm stuck in traffic 3 hours till I get home, and that's reality out here. How would you tell them to anchor or constellate that beautiful feeling they felt like walking the vortex in Sedona? Right.
Well, it's number one is the recognition that it's here with you, and it can never be it's simply like no matter how many storms we have, no matter how much clouds go through the sky. I mean, we're in Southern California, we don't have so much of that. But basically, no matter how much you've seen bad weather, you've seen thunderstorms, you've seen snow, you've seen like horrible weather in your life, correct?
Yes.
Right. Now, at the end of all these thunderstorms and bad weather, when all the clouds go away, what do you see when you look up? You see the blue sky.
Yes, it's back. It's back again.
Does blue sky ever get tainted or scratched? I'd say like, oh, I have so many storms going through me and now I'm not going to be blue.
Right. It exists. It's infinite. It exists forever.
Forever. Once we recognize that peace is really here and it's always here, it's the very fabric and foundation of every human being. So it doesn't matter where you are. The knowing that peace is here, that recognition that it's always here. Now, yes, you may be in downtown LA and there's traffic, someone cut in front of you, and naturally your nervous system is active and you get nervous or angry. So now we're having some clouds passing through the sky.
I see what you're saying.
But it would never take the very foundation away.
It's still there, the blue sky.
So recognizing that real peace is within yourself. It's not driving to Sedona. It's not outside of yourself. It's within yourself. The understanding of that peace and calmness and happiness is really here all the time. And it's not conditional based on the other world, because we're conditioned to think that if I buy the Porsche, if I get the desired partner, and if I finally get this house, if I get this acting job, I'm going to be very happy.
Right.
Yeah. And then when we do get it, there's a short-term happiness, but very quickly it evaporates because you just get tired of the Porsche and you want something else.
That's right.
And you got the partner you wanted, but then after a while, you're just problem starts to rise. And you got the acting thing, career, or the contract, and you're in a major TV or movie, but then you want something else, and now you're worried about something may happen. So it brings you temporary happiness, but then suffering comes back. That which we're looking for is permanent, and it's always here, and it's not depending on outside circumstances. So when we work on that and starts to realize that the very foundation of me is the blue sky, happiness and peace is always here. Now, in the body-mind mechanism, I can get nervous or I can get worried, and then when the worriness and nervousness goes away, I just come back to that peace again. That one cannot go anywhere. That's the very foundation because it's always here. Now, as I realize this more, that it's here, I don't project it on the outside.
Nice.
And the less I project it on the outside, the more I notice it within myself.
And I think the less you project it on the outside, you don't rely on these external people, things to make or break your day. You rely on more what you create within here.
Absolutely. Now, if something goes your way on the outer world, it's an added bonus.
Right.
But you're no longer under the illusion that brings you happiness.
Right.
That brings you losing it. It will bring you misery. Gaining it is going to bring you happiness. You're no longer in that illusion. And the more you recognize this, the more you become free. And that's the real freedom. The real freedom is not that, okay, I live in the United States of America and I can say whatever I want, and politically or socially, or I can buy anything I want, or I can travel anywhere I want to go because I got a lot of money, or I can sleep with anybody I want because I have the freedom, sexual freedom. That's not freedom. Freedom is when you're free from your mind. There's no thoughts. You're quiet. Here, you're not caught in this duality and worriness of constant anxiety. You are in calmness, and you know that you're whole, you are complete, you're one with God. Love is always here. You are feeling it. When the clouds go away, you see the blue sky, you feel the love and happiness. Sometimes clouds come and go, but you know it's permanent and it's always here, and it's not depending on anything you gain or you lose. That's freedom.
And that's everlasting when you tap that freedom.
Once you discover it, no one can ever take it away from you, because this is not something you gain.
It's something you are, right? It's just something you are.
You are. If you gain something, you can lose it. Mm-hmm. So if I have to acquire it, I can lose it. But if I realize it, that this is the foundation of who I am, how could I ever lose it? It's always here. And all human beings on this planet, regardless of class, age, sex, ethnic backgrounds, nationality, religion, every single human being on this planet, their ultimate desire is happiness.
Right.
There is not a single human being on this planet that doesn't want to be happy, doesn't want to be loved.
Very true.
Right? Mm-hmm. Regardless of what they are, even if they find happiness in murdering people, let's say they're crooked, but ultimately they're looking for happiness and satisfaction. Even if their action may be not acceptable, but they're looking for happiness.
That's our commonality, is what we all want.
The commonality of every single human being on the planet. Understanding that, and understanding that where is this happiness? This ultimate happiness is when your mind becomes quiet, there is no thoughts. In the absence of a quiet mind, what's there? Oh,
chaos, worries, blah, blah.
Yeah, in the absence of a busy mind, what's there?
Oh, well then, to me, that seems like peace.
Peace. In the absence of clouds, when you look at the sky, what do you see?
It's peace again. Sky. Openness.
It's openness. Exactly. So, freedom is when your mind is empty and there's no thoughts. That's where the freedom is.
Now, what would you, so what would you tell somebody here that's listening today, how to get started? Should they do those techniques you mentioned about moving around to get into that spot here? Or how would you tell them to find that place where they can start to realize they have that peace within?
Right. So, yes, absolutely. Simple, active meditation.
Okay.
And because it's the fastest way of bringing the person in touching that place, to get a glimpse of it.
This is interesting. Most people think they have to sit there and do still meditation, and some people say, I can't do that, and I get it, because there's times when I can either. Active meditation, the movement is beautiful. I think maybe people should start trying that. I mean, that's what you do. That's what you teach. And you have seen that it actually works and gets somebody into that space quickly.
Absolutely. Or dance.
I love that. Dance, yeah.
Play a great dance song and starts dancing for 10 minutes and then stop. Or you're jumping up and down. Anybody, if you're physically able, for example, I can give you a demonstration.
Yes, please. Yes.
Right. For example, let's say I'm just standing here and I'm going like, I bring my attention on one point. I bring my attention on here or here. Right. And then I go like, hoo, 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 hoo. I do this, let's say, for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Or, let's say, physically, I'm not capable of jumping up and down. Okay, I'm on a wheelchair, or I have some ankle or knee issues. Okay, you're sitting here, and you're saying,
that makes me want to laugh.
So, even if I fake it, after a few minutes, you start laughing.
It takes over.
Let's say you can't do that. All right? Okay, I can't laugh. Fine. You close your eyes. You put your attention on one point, and you speak tongue language, gibberish. You speak a language you've never spoken.
Love it.
Without thinking. And it flushes your mind. You're literally flushing the mind, and the mind will get empty. If you do this for 5 or 6 minutes and you stop, and or whatever amount of time you can do it, then you stop. and you just keep your attention on one point. Wherever the point is, you can keep your attention on your breath or your heart. You're not trying not to think. You're not trying to think. You're not visualizing. You're simply keeping your attention. You're not really trying to do anything. You're just simply keeping your attention on one point. And then you wait for 30 seconds and you do it again. You do it 2 or 3 times. You go in a deep, deep, quiet place within yourself and you touch the space. Just one thing I want to share with you.
Please.
The normal sitting meditations don't work anymore. And the reason they don't work is 100 years ago, 150 years ago, we didn't have a sophisticated mind. The information that was available to us was through the village. You would go to the center of the town, right?
Yes.
And elders or people from other villages would come to the center. And they would exchange information about, yeah, down up in Santa Barbara, we have shortage of water, or there was some fire, and you would exchange information, or maybe there was a local newspaper, but there wasn't this vast amount of information floating all over. And communication was very difficult too. So the minds were simple. They weren't so busy.
Right. They didn't have all this stuff going on either that we have today.
The human mind was just preoccupied with its daily and local issues. It was worried about tsunami in Japan or North Korea is going to attack Guam. And you couldn't get that information because it wasn't available. All right? Today, with all these different, you have radio, TV, internet, iPad, iPhone,
distractions.
Snapchat, everything.
Right.
Information is floating in the air all the time. And all these electromagnetic wavelengths that is out there, our brains are receptors. So even if you don't go to the devices, you're picking up things no matter what. So the human mind is busy. Or you're going on internet and all of a sudden you're getting all this news that the Al-Qaeda, blah, 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 or the attack of this to that. It gets your mind activated no matter what, whether you want it or not. So 100 years ago, that sitting quiet meditation technique worked for then. But today you need a modern, high-tech, sophisticated meditation that matches where the mind of modern man is. And for that is active meditation. Active meditation diffuses that.
That's beautiful. That's well said. I think probably a lot of people watching this are probably feeling, I'm relieved because I couldn't make it work for me. But everybody can do this.
Everybody can do this, and it's very simple. And the beauty of it is within few minutes it works.
And by doing this, you start activating the third eye. You get yourself ready. The vibration raises, so you'll be able to begin to move into these other dimensions. And all kinds of, like you said, I think you said the awarenesses that build the clarity. All that, it's like a byproduct of this.
Everything starts to happen automatically on its own accord when you quiet your mind. Means you don't need to worry about anything.
Yes.
Because what happens is the more your mind quiets, the more your breath. Look, this planet is a planet of energy. And has a breath. The planet has a pulse. The planet Earth is alive. It's not a dead, it's a rock.
She's alive.
It's very clear that crystal that you're wearing, the one the pendant you're having and what you're having, right, exactly. Where do they grow? They grow inside Earth, correct? So, and if you go to a cave and you see the crystals and you go there 10 years after, you may not even be able to enter into the cave because the cave,
growing.
because the crystal, they grew.
Yeah.
So it's alive. And if it's alive, that means it's breathing. So it's got a pulse. The more you become quiet, and as you know, all these different meditations like Vipassana and all these different methods of meditations, they emphasize on the breath, correct?
Right.
Yeah. And so when you become quiet, your breath gets synchronized with the breath of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You go into alignment. The more you go into this alignment, and that's not from a thinking process, that's from not thinking. So the less you're thinking, the more you become quiet, the more you get aligned with your breathing, and your breath gets aligned with the breath of the planet. And the more you get aligned with the breath of the planet, the more things starts to become synchronized and fall into pieces for you. So you don't really need to try to figure out life to what to do. All you have to do is become quiet, and it will reveal itself.
Very, very well said. That's that's beautiful. I think it's going to help a lot of people just get off their backs in a way for this. I got to make this happen. I got to do this. I got to do that. That's got to do next. I got to figure this out. And I think what you said there is once you get in alignment with the focus and the energy of the earth and your breath, then things synchronistically happen. They fall into place. I've experienced that in moments of my life just by getting out of my own way. And I think this is a great way to do that. Well, we've come to the end of our show, but what final words would you like to share with the audience here that you think is important for them to know?
What I would like to share with everyone is that which they're seeking is really resides within their own hearts.
Very true. Well, Zarathustra, it's been great having you on the show. Where may everybody find you? I know you've got a lot of cool events coming up. I've been to your website, and the link is below, everybody. But where can they find you?
Well, my website is ZARATHUSTRA.tv. I also broadcast every Tuesday from 10 a.m. California time to 11:30. I have a free webinar. I have an academy called Fifth Dimensional Academy of Higher Consciousness. So this is open to everyone, and we broadcast. There is active meditations.
Oh, you guys check it out.
There's a transmission, and then there's Q&A. And so participants, it's interactive, and they can ask me questions, and I guide them. And then I have a series of different events coming. My next event is a fifth dimensional quantum group healing event in Los Angeles in Woodland Hills Hilton Hotel on September 10th.
Excellent. And then I know you have a bunch more coming up after that. So go to his website, check it out. He has a really nice website, and that webinar sounds fabulous.
Yes,
I'll be in attendance myself.
Yeah, well, I would love to have you there. You're welcome to join in, and everything gets recorded and posted on my YouTube channel as well as my Facebook pages.
Great. Well, thank you again, Zarathustra. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a blessing having you on this show. You've really shared some really excellent insights into how to tap into the tapestry of the universe. So thank you again, my friend.
You're welcome, Karen. It's my pleasure. I'm honored, and feel free to reach out anytime, and I would love to come and join in your program again in the future.
Thank you very much. Well, you guys, there you have it. This is a gentleman who's figured out ways to tap into these other realms because he allowed it to flow through him. He got quiet within and allows himself to be a channel, a vessel of these higher frequencies, which once again will align him back with the earth, back with himself, so things synchronistically can flow through him and out into his life. So thank you all for joining me today and my guest. This is Creative Visions TV, and I'm Karen Dahlman, and I will see you really soon. Now get out there and explore the infinite possibilities to life. Thank you.